Welcome to another episode of a News You Can Use podcast. And my name is Frenchaire Gardner. And we're just so grateful to have y'all here. We have a great business spotlight here. Her name is Karen Vaughn. Welcome, Karen.
Hi, welcome. I'm so happy to be on the podcast with you because I know you're out there. You're doing so many different things. You're a master at what you do. I see you all the time on social media, and you're doing your thing. So I am so excited and happy to be on here with you today. Let's go ahead and get this going.
Okay. Karen and I have been trying to get this going for a while, and I'm grateful for your patience. So let me tell you a bit about Karen. Karen, it says, her bio says, my name is Karen Vaughn. I am a healthcare professional who transitioned into a marketing and public relations, and I have worked for the Florida nonprofit organization, which is affiliated with the Greater Fort Lauderdale Chamber of Commerce. She holds a bachelor's degree in marketing management from Florida Metropolitan University and is currently completing a master's degree from Phoenix University in mental health. She also possesses a diagnostic medical sonography degree and has traveled all around the United States in her medical practice. In July of 2020, she formed her own LLC called KV Connect, a consulting marketing company. And she is now transitioning into public speaking, which she spoke on the Success Fest 2021 platform and was a panelist on the Becoming the Best You in November 2021. And by completing her book, The Essence of a Woman, and now adding author to her resume, she believes she can tell her story, which hopefully will inspire others. And this will help others to realize they can achieve anything they make up their minds to do. She strives to keep motivating and therefore making a difference in communities and eventually the world. She says her motto in life is, all our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them. Therefore, I look forward to this new chapter of her life with enthusiasm and vigor. All right. Karen, I read your bio to the people. Now give us some historical background, history about who you are, where you're from. All right. Welcome back to another episode of a News and Use podcast. We're back. We're having technical difficulties. We're live. It's all good. Thank you so much for your patience, Karen. Start over and please just tell us again about some historical background about who you are, where you're from, and where you are.
Okay, so my name is Karen Vaughn, and I currently live in Florida right now. We were living in New York, and we moved here to Florida. And, of course, I grew up here in Florida. And I'm of a Caribbean background as well, Jamaican.
Okay.
So you might have heard about the jerk chicken and the oxtails and all that. So and the rice and peas and all that. Yes, that's a favorite Jamaican dish. So, yes. So basically, like you said, I was in the... I don't know if you had it the other way around. I was actually in the marketing field before because I do have a bachelor's in marketing, business administration marketing. So I started off there, and I was actually working with the cruise lines when I first, left college or first. I was actually in the sales. I was doing sales for one of the subsidiaries of, I don't know if you've heard of Carnival Cruise Lines.
Of course.
But I was working with the yachts. At the time, they had the yachts, the Seabourn and the Cunard cruises. and I was working with that division. And of course, it was very exciting for me being, young, just leaving. Well, actually, I started working with them while I was going to college. So you're talking about like 18, 19 years old. And of course, just the excitement of being, traveling, because, with the cruise lines, they wanted us to go on the actual cruises to experience how it was. And so, we could actually sell it better, when we could actually do something. So we would go on there, and these yachts were like, they held maybe about 500, 600 people, and very fancy yachts. So can you imagine at that age to be experiencing that kind of going on a yacht? We didn't tell them. They didn't tell the people that we worked for them. They thought we were just coming on there, and I don't know how, because these people on there were like millionaires and billionaires. But because they had they have the staff stand up when you walk onto the ship and everything. You're on a cruise line that's like a 5-star experience thing, and I got to experience that. We went to like St. Thomas, St. Martin, places like that. What's the other one? Bermuda. So we went on those little yachts,
Yes.
So they allowed us to do that so we could see how the service was on the yachts. We didn't tell them we worked for the company, so then we could come back and report like what was going on, how the service was and all that. But I enjoyed it because, for one thing, we got to see the different islands, and, you get to experience a 5-star experience. I mean, I remember sitting out on the patio in the sun. We were having breakfast out there, and of course, I would say our people, our skin color people, were not on those cruises, but was maybe like 2 or 3 of us on there, you know what I mean? But when we sat outside, and I remember saying, oh my God, this is so hot out here. And the guy just came automatically and put the canopy thing over me, just hearing me saying that, I just saying it was hot. And he just automatically came over, put the thing over. And so we got, we were 5-star treatment. I mean, that was really a good experience for me at that age to be experiencing that kind of so I loved working there. But then what happened is that cruise line, they transitioned, they of course relocated to another state. I think it was San Francisco or something like that. And I couldn't relocate at the time. So, of course, I had to be looking for another job at that time because, of course, they relocated. And so my mom said to me, because she's an RN. Okay. She's retired. Yeah, she's retired, but that was her field from she was like 19, 20 years old. She's been a nurse. So she said to me, well, why not do something in the medical field? Because, you're in Florida. There's a lot of retirees and, and old people down here. You might as well try to do something in the medical field because there's a lot of jobs out there. And she was right. Mm-hmm. So that's when I transitioned into the health field, the medical field. I went back to school because she said, since, you can go back to school, you have time, so went back to school. And that's when I did the health, started that's when my journey in the health field started. And so I did the diagnostic medical, sonography with like ultrasound, MRIs, X-rays. So that's what I went into. So I started working, then I started working at Broward Health, at all the, major hospitals here in Florida, doing all the scans for the patients, like, the MRI, working with the radiologists, because we basically were the eyes and ears of the radiologists. And it's not that I didn't love that, but my passion was always like public speaking, marketing, putting myself out there, because I'm an extrovert. I'm not an introvert. So, I mean, I have my, health degrees. I have I still keep up my, I do my CNAs, but I've worked in the hospital, for about 15 years. And I used to, it's not that I don't like helping people, but I know that's not my calling. My total calling is to be out there in the public, helping people. Because, as doing the scans and all of that, being around sick people all day in a hospital, you can't, you're in a building. You're not out there. You're not, you're not outside. You're locked up in a hospital. So I did that for about 10 years, and then I said, you know what, I'm going to try traveling, because that may be a better experience for me. And it was. I started traveling, so I started, I went to California, worked at Alameda Hospital. I went to Virginia, worked at Chesapeake in Virginia. I worked at Detroit Medical Center. I worked in Baltimore. So I was all over the place. And the traveling I did like. But then right before COVID hit, I was like, when COVID actually hit, I was like, oh my God, I saw all of the people we were on the front line, and I said, do I really want to be on this front line I don't even know what's going on. You remember when COVID first hit?
Yes.
We were like, no one knew exactly what it was. People were they were dropping like flies, and especially minorities, and we didn't know what was going on. So I decided I did not want to work in the hospitals anymore. So I took my last assignment like a week before everything shut down, and I came back to home, and then I started working the desk jobs. That's what I started doing then. And so that's when I was able to, because I'd started writing my book The Essence of a Woman before, but when I really got the time to finish it was during that COVID period, because then I had the time when everything shut down. And so I said, why not? I've already started this. I kept putting it down and, not having the time to finish it because, of course, working in the hospital, sometimes you're there 16 hours. It's rough, and I used to be on call, working in the nights and working on weekends, so I had no time. So I said, this is a perfect opportunity for me to finish this book. Since I've been writing it, it's about the strength and the resilience of a woman and how we can overcome a lot of obstacles. I myself have been through, because I got married at a young age, and maybe that wasn't the best thing to do because, we were both young. We didn't really we didn't take the time, I guess, to know each other totally. And, of course, he was a little bit, aggressive and abusive. And I went through all of that, verbal, physical abuse, all of that I went through. I do have a child, I have a daughter. And so I wrote, by me writing this book, The Essence of a Woman, it helped me personally to tell my story a little bit in the book, and also it helped me mentally also to clear a lot of this anger and stuff that I may have had pent up inside of me, and which I know a lot of us, we're not able to speak about certain things because, we don't address it. We just push it to the back, like maybe our parents did, or we were told strong, we're resilient, because, as you do know, especially with us people of color, we push a lot of things in the background. We don't want to, we're embarrassed sometimes to talk about certain things. And this is why I decided that, to actually start doing, to go into the master's degree with mental health, because I realized a lot of us, we're not facing up to certain things that happened when in our childhood. Yes. We're pushing it in the background, especially even with a lot of men. And this is why sometimes our relationships, they don't work out, because, a lot of us grew up in a single parent household, especially a lot of us, especially black men, and black women. But, of course, that's why sometimes the relationships don't work out, because a lot of the men have not even addressed their issues, as to what happened to them, when they were in their childhood days. And so it's carried over into their adult lives. And now, they have a girlfriend or a fiance or a woman, and then they don't know how to treat that woman because, they never had that father figure in their lives. And I realized with my relationships with a lot of the men, some of the men that I've dated. Not that I've dated a lot of men, but I realized this was what was happening with a lot of men because of the fact that they grew up in a single parent household. And I know, the strength of us, the strength of a woman is good, because I myself am a single parent, but being a man and having a woman grow, as a mother and a father, not saying that we're not strong and we can't do it, but sometimes you do need that father figure around you, especially for the men, to show you how a man should be. Yes. And how a man should be the woman. And I think this is what a lot of, why I decided to go into the mental health field as well, because I wanted to learn more about this, make an impact, and learn, to, go out there and talk to others about, maybe addressing our fears, and maybe going back to our childhood days, because I think a lot of this stems from what happened to us back when we were children, and we have brought it now into our adult lives. And this is why there's a lot of this kind of thing going on in our communities with the men and women, the relationships not working out, because we have not addressed our issues, totally. And so, yes. And so I know you had some questions for me. I must have skipped over a lot of these questions.
No, you're fine. I really just wanted you to give us a background about who you are, as you've done. I'm curious to know, so as someone who's completing a master's degree in mental health, how do you incorporate mental health awareness and advocacy into your work, in marketing, public speaking?
Yeah, well, because of the fact that, as I mentioned before, I'm able to connect with a lot of people, especially, with our people, minorities, I'm able to connect with them, because then I am, I understand a lot of what they have been through. And I know that by, me studying mental health, I know a lot of it it's psychological issues, that we have to overcome. And so I'm able to tell them my story, and a lot of times they're able to open up to me, because a lot of the issues that some of these women, have been through, I have been through it. So yes. I'm able to let them know that you're not talking to someone that has not gone through these trials and tribulations and issues. I'm someone that you're talking to that is, have been through what you've been through. And I was able to overcome it. And this is how I did it. And then I talked to them, and, and so, they're able to open up to me, because I'm able to kind of, ask them certain questions. I go into their mind. I ask them about their childhood, and then they open up to me. And so this has helped me to, even as I mentioned, before, it has helped me to address some of my issues. And it has helped me to, realize the issues that I have faced and what I was carrying into my adult life and into my relationships. So even being, with me studying the mental health, by me going out there and incorporating this into my public speaking, it's like it's a therapy for me too. You know what I mean? So,
I do.
Yes. So, this helped me a lot, and especially even with me writing the book that I wrote, because of our strength, our resilience, we're just able to bounce back from a lot of things, especially us women of color. Sometimes we have to be mother and father, which is what I am to my daughter. And we're able to, we're just so resilient. We're able to come back from anything basically that has been thrown at us. We're able to overcome it somehow, and we're able to pick up our pieces and just forge ahead. And this is what I love about our people. We're so resilient, we're so strong, and we have the faith. And that's what brought me to that's what brought me out of a lot of this through, because I have a faith. I believe in God, and my faith brought me out of a lot of what I went through, because I was able to call on the Lord and ask him for direction and advice. And believe you me, when you ask him, when you kneel and when you go down on your knees and you say to him, you ask him questions, you pray to him and tell him that, that you're the person I have to turn to. There's no one else but you. And dear God, just guide me and, show me the right direction and everything, and show me what to do and where to go. And believe you me, he is going to answer your prayers. And he had answered mine. So he has answered mine, and he's still answering mine right now. And right now I'm such in a great position, have a great relationship. I'm in such a good space right now. I was able to pick up my pieces and get myself together. As I said, I'm finishing up my master's and took my state exam and all that. And I'm just on top of the world right now. As you mentioned, I have the book, The Essence of a Woman, and it's on Amazon, and it's going into Barnes and Nobles in a little bit. Then I'm co-authoring also with another doctor, and Dr. Vanessa. I don't know. She's also in our network. I'm not sure if you know her.
I work with Dr. Vanessa Blackwell.
Right. So were you co-author on her last book?
Finding Joy in the Journey, Volume 2.
Yes, I'll be on her next book, which is coming out in 2024. So I'll be there with you.
Nice.
Yes, and I have another doctor too that I'm co-authoring with, Dr. Joan Wright Good.
Okay.
She lives here in Florida, and she's also coming out with a book. She's on Fox TV in Atlanta. And so I'm going to be co-authoring with her as well. So there's a lot of good things coming up here in the horizon for me, as well as I'm still doing my medical thing, on the side. And, but I'm pushing myself out there, and I know that, God has, a direction for me. And I know he's going to, he's right there with me. And he's pushing me out there. There's a lot of things that I have here in the background, including film and movies and everything that will be out there. I don't want to talk too much about that because we're still in the works with that. But once it comes out there, I'll definitely, come on and let you guys know about that as well. One of my very good friends, she's actually in the Tyler Perry movie, the one with Megan Good.
Divorce and Black.
Yes, she's in there, and that's a very good friend of mine. And so, so there's a lot of these things coming up in, very soon. You'll see Karen Vaughn as well.
Very nice.
So I don't want to talk too much about it because we have, it's not out there yet. But yes, this is what's coming up eventually in the works for me as well. So I'm just so, as I said, I'm so thrilled to be on this podcast with you. I know you had other questions for me, but you can go ahead. I just started talking about
No, you're fine. And that's the point, really. This is just an opportunity to share your story, because there's so much power and testimony in our stories. I mean, I'm grateful to be, a survivor of sexual assault and as you stated, there are a lot of things that as Blacks that we deal with in our childhood that, that really haunts us as adults if you don't really deal with those mental, I want to say those mental issues that come, that we repress things. And so that makes really a big difference. I'm curious, you've spoken at various events, including the Success Fest 2021 and Becoming the Best You in November 2021. What topics do you typically address in your public speaking engagements, and what motivates you to share your experiences with others?
Well, what motivates me is because, as I mentioned, I want to help our people of color. I want them to know that, no matter what they go through, they're able to overcome this. So I do speak on health disparities because I did see that. I saw a lot of that working in the health field, where we're still experiencing that right now, where a lot of healthcare providers are giving more attention to the patients, with preferred insurances, also, to of course, people that are not of our color, they get the preferential treatment when they go to the hospitals. We, a lot of us don't, because maybe they don't, a lot of us don't even have health insurance.
True.
To be honest with you. And so I speak on things like that because I have seen that by working in the health field. I've seen the way we've been treated coming into the emergency rooms, even in the hospitals, not getting the proper treatment because, maybe their insurance, they don't have good insurance, and maybe, they just they're overlooked.
Yes.
I've seen that with my own two eyes. And I feel I'm very passionate about that because I think everyone should be able to have a certain standard of health care. And that's why a lot of us, if you look at the numbers, the survival rates for us as Black people and Black Americans are 4 times below that of our counterparts. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So why is that so? You know what I mean? And this is something that, I talk about because I'm in that field and I've seen it 100%. And so I don't think this is something that we should just push under the rug. We need to go out there and we need to talk more about that because our people need the same kind of care that everybody else is getting,
Definitely.
And why are we not getting that, So I do talk about that. I also talk about us being, about our, making sure that, you know who you are.
Yes.
And that we have to be self-confident. We have to know that, that we were created by God. We don't want to, we should know that we're strong, we're resilient, we can do anything, our self-esteem. A lot of us have very low self-esteem, and, it stems from what maybe we have been through growing up, and maybe what people told us, it may be stuck in our heads. Like a lot of people, sometimes when I speak to them, as I said, with the mental health, they tell me, well, my mother always told me I would never be anything. I was never going to, I was not good enough. And then those things, when you tell a child those things, it resonates in their minds, and believe it or not, even as an adult, they still remember these things that their mother or whoever it was, their aunt or whoever told them as a child, and told them that they would never amount to anything. And so that's why sometimes a lot of us, we don't have the self-esteem, because of what we were told and what someone said about us when we were younger, and you know what I mean, or what our mother or father, and we carry that into our adult lives, and sometimes it shows up as us being aggressive to others. It shows up as, even for men, it shows, they're very, they're aggressive towards their partners and all that because they don't know how to be anything else, because that's what they grew up seeing. They might have been, they might have been in a household where they used to see their father beat up their mom, all the time, and everything like that. And that aggression was there because this is what they saw. This is what they grew up with, or they, so how are they to know any different when they, of course they know it's not right and it's not, but it's something that sticks with them for the rest of their lives. Even, some men, they were abused as children, and they didn't want to talk about it because, of course they don't want to talk about something like that, especially being abused by maybe someone of the same sex. And it's not that they're not gay, but this happened to them maybe by a family member or whatever, and they didn't want to talk about it. And so they feel so, they carry that with them even as an adult, as a grown man. They still have that, that feeling of they feel they carry it with them. So they have that feeling of, this was something that happened to them, and, why did this happen to them? And they never got therapy for it. They never went to counseling. They never spoke to anyone about it. And it's just like even with Oprah. Remember when Oprah came out, I think she was maybe, 40 something, close to 50, and she came out and said she was abused at 9.
Back in the day.
Exactly. But look how long it took her being someone in the public eye to come out and say that. So can you imagine for a lot of others, for a lot of us, we don't want to talk about it. We don't want to come out and say certain things, especially even if it's a family member. It could be your aunt, could be your uncle that abused you, or your father, and you can't talk about it because your mother always told you, don't air your dirty laundry. I don't know if don't air your dirty laundry, so you don't want to talk about stuff like that. But this is something that we need to bring to light and to talk about. So that's one of my issues that I talk about too, our mental health and how it's affecting the way that our relationships and how we're living now, because we're too scared and we don't want to talk about these things, and these are things we need to talk about, you know what I mean? It's this is something that I talk about as well. Also building, how do we build our self-esteem? How do we learn to love ourselves? Because everything that's shown, everything that's that we see, it's always like they're trying to put us down and say, well, this is, you know what I mean?
I do.
So this is why we need to to uplift one another. Sisters, uplift sisters, we need to uplift each other, because a lot of times we're not given a fair opportunity, we're not given fair chances. They think we're hooligans, we're look, even with some of these TV shows, I'm wondering sometimes why. I don't have to wonder, because they do get paid for it, but when you show us in such a negative light, especially coming on on national TV like that, then what are people gonna think? We're on there fighting and cursing and throwing things at each other, and you know what I mean? And it's like, why are we degrading ourselves like that and making ourselves look like, because this is what they think of us anyway. So, I think we just need to have a higher self-esteem, especially some of us women. We need to know that we're worthy. We're not, it doesn't matter what any previous partner or whatever told you, that you were not this, you were not that. We need to think that we're it, and we can, it doesn't matter what anyone else says. It's what you feel inside of you and what you are. Never let anyone put you down, tell you can't do this, you can't do that, and you're not good enough. Or do not let anyone tell you that and put, make you think that you're not worthy enough. You're worthy of everything and anything, because you're a child of the Most High. Okay?
That's right.
So we got to remember that.
Yes. Now, you said a mouthful when you were talking about just how, as men, specifically black men and women, how we have repressed the trauma. And I had to deal with that my own self, with being molested by my father, and it took me many years to come to the place to even talk about it. It was repressed. I didn't even know it happened. It took me a counselor or doctor at my first full-time job to really figure those things out, because I repressed them, like you said. But I think that what is so much important is that we get counseling, we get therapy, we get some kind of help, because the trauma that you experience in your childhood can sometimes be so debilitating. And so I really, personally, I think every black person in America should get some counseling and therapy. But I just think that that's a really important aspect of it, and being able to, and not pushing everything at silence, like you said. In the past, that was the way we did it, but I really think that it's unhealthy. That was an unhealthy practice, and you just need to tell your story, and it gives you power, and it, like you said, it builds your confidence, as you stated. I really want to talk to you. You said that let me see, where'd it go? Hold on. So, it says on your form that you are going to be launching your own KV Connect podcast. I wanted to see if you did that, and how is it going?
Yes, I haven't launched it yet because, as I said, I'm doing these other things that, I'm working on right now with, something even bigger than the podcast.
Yes.
So
and congratulations on those feats.
Right. And do what?
I said, and congratulations on those feats.
Oh, thank you. Yes. So I haven't launched it as of yet, but I still am, I'm still going to do it, as soon as, I finish with what I'm doing now, I will certainly start launching that podcast, and I also have someone that wants to basically launch it with me that's known out there. So that's what we're working on right now, actually, getting everything together so we can actually put the podcast, we can start, with the podcast, but it should be in another month or so. We should be able to get that launched and start doing that. And I would love for you to be a guest, maybe one of our first guests on there as well.
I'd love to be. I'd be honored.
Yes, so this is something I'm looking forward to as well. That's another thing, that I want to check off on my checklist, going down the line, you know what I mean? Because I'm trying to get everything. Yes, we're trying to get everything, done that, you want to do. I have a bucket list as well, and I keep checking it off. That's why I'm saying I wrote down my journal. Okay. Right, I keep a journal, and I wrote down everything that I wanted to happen to me, like from like in 2000, since COVID and everything. I had kept my journal, and and everything that I've put so far has been coming true.
Yes.
Up until this point, so I know that everybody always says you write down what you want, write it on a piece of paper. And let me tell you something that is so true. When you write down all your goals and what you want to accomplish, and you put it on paper and you read it and you go over it, you'll start checking everything off on that list that you had put on, on your journal. And it's a true thing. I used to hear people talk about it, and I did not realize that this was such a true thing until when I did it, and I started checking off all the things that I had on my list. And, it works. It's a real thing.
Yes, that writing down what you desire is definitely a great manifesting tool. I want to acknowledge those who came on the live with us. We got Pritesh RS200, podcast nobody listens to, Marcio Cannon 73, Jim Noel Fit, and Johnny Walker. Thanks for tuning in to the live right now. Tell us where can we find your book, Essence of a Woman?
Yes, it's on Amazon right now. So my actual you can actually log on to Karen Patrice, KarenPatrice.com, and it's on there. It's once you once you pull it up, KarenPatrice.com. All my information is on there, and it will take you straight. You can order my book on there, or you can go on Amazon. And as I mentioned, it's going to be in Barnes and Noble shortly too, so you can go there and pick it up. I think I have a copy here. Let me just
Good.
I'm not sure if you have the copy, but I'll just pull it out here. Yes, here it is. So let me just show it here. I know that's not right. Thought I had a copy here of it, but apparently I know I have a copy. I did not put it out today. Oh, I know I have it somewhere. I just have to find it.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, here it is. All right. So, a minute here. This is my book here.
Yes.
So you can see it. All right. And so, yes, so it's on Amazon, and it's coming in Barnes and Nobles. And as I mentioned, you could log on to KarenPatrice.com, and you'll see all my information there and everything that I'm doing. I post all my activities, some of my activities like my book signings and all that. It will be on that website as well, on the KarenPatrice.com.
Excellent. Very nice. Do you mind, do you want to read us an excerpt of your book?
If I want to read the what? The essence?
Do you want to read? What do you want? Yeah, would you like to read like a paragraph or two from your book?
Yes, of course. I can read here. Okay, so let me read this paragraph, and it says, who are you? It says it's about identifying yourself, and it says, who are you? It says, this looks like the most straightforward question anybody can ask. It's a 5-year-old today could provide a few answers to that question. It is simple and basic, but in reality, most people do not know who they are, and in turn fail to realize what they want from life. But you have to be familiar with yourself to be able to know what your needs are. And I've been asked this question numerous times when I was younger, and I always had a ready and simple answer to give. It says, I'm Karen. I am the only child of my mother. I do not know my father because he died when I was 3 years old. Simple. And, this is just something I read from here. This is like chapter 1, and chapter 1 just goes into identifying yourself, knowing who you are, and, basically tell it that, which is what I was saying. We have to know ourselves inside and out. We have to be, we have to know who we are, what we're about. Always, have, instead of having low self-esteem, we need to just be, we need to be who we were meant to be, who God envisioned us to be. Let's think about ourselves that way. And,
yes.
and everything will fall into place. Just have your faith. Once you believe in God, you have, there's nothing that you can't do. Have your strength, have your faith, and just be, be yourself, be who you are, and you will be so surprised how things will turn around for you. Once you go out there, once you put yourself out there, you make up, have your mind set as to what your goals are. Don't let anyone talk you out of what you came on this earth to do, what God wanted you to do. You'll feel it inside of you, and you'll know that this is something, you're passionate about. God will push you to that place. Once, that he'll push you to where you need to be, and you'll realize that this is what I was supposed to be doing all this time. This is what God wanted me to do. You'll feel like a burning sensation inside of you, and you'll want to just go out there, and whether you know it or not, whether you might not even be in a space where you might think you're not, you can't do it. But once you get out there, believe you me, you'll make it happen. You will do everything that you were put on this earth to do. And as I mentioned, I saw you out there too. I don't know your whole story, but I do know that you're out there and you're making it happen. So you're also someone that, we want to look up to as well, because you're out there, girl. I see you on your social media, and you're doing everything.
Thank you so much. Because just like you said, it's taken me it's been a journey to come to this place of knowing who I am and finding what I'm passionate about. And I'm still in a space of self-discovery, for real. But
yes, we all are.
Yeah, but gratefully, I've come to a place where I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna tell everybody this. My sister died about 12 years ago, and she was only 42 years old. And what her life taught me was that this life is short. And, it's fleeting. You don't know when your time is. And so it's really important, just as you just stated, that you find your passions, that you do the things that you love and enjoy, that you be with the people that you enjoy and love, because the time is so short. I lost my father this year. And so all of these people and their lives have taught me that you must go after what you desire today, not tomorrow, but today, because you just don't know when your day is and when your time is. So it's important that you know yourself, that you find yourself, and that you live out your passions and have fun.
Yes, because we never know when our time is up. So the best thing to do is never put it off. Just go ahead, do what do what your mind, and do what your inside, listen to your gut feeling, and you go for it. That's what you need to do. That's what we all need to do.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
Go for it, because we never know when is our last day here on earth, and at least we want to know that we did something. What I would love to do is to, I always pray about that. I said, God, let me make an impact on this earth. Whatever I know you brought me here to do something. To make an impact on people, to let me do that before I take my last breath. I want to leave some kind of a legacy,
ma'am.
I want to make an impact that everyone will know that I came here to help people, basically, and I want to do that. I want to leave a legacy. I want to make an impact. Especially for our people, for everyone actually, but I mean mostly for, the underserved, because I believe that we really need, more people to be out there and to be, advocating for us as well.
That's
so
true.
this is what I want to do before I leave this earth.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
I'm so glad that, I've come on this podcast with you. As I mentioned before, I'm very honored to be on here, and you'll be one of the first ones to be on my podcast.
Yay.
Start with this, so
That's
awesome.
awesome.
So I really appreciate that. Yes.
It's been so good talking to you today, Karen. I want, before we leave, for you to drop 2 gems to any aspiring business owners. What would you tell them? What keys would you inspire them with? What would you tell any aspiring business owner?
I would say never give up. Even though, some days you're gonna think that, you're gonna have good days, you're gonna have bad days. And I know sometimes you're gonna say, I just want to throw in the towel. But never give up. You keep on going, and believe me, you will reach your goal. Just keep on striving, keep going. You have that strength in you, that, you have the resilience, you have the strength, and, we're all wonderful people. I mean, just believe that, we're all put on this earth to accomplish something. So I would always encourage anyone to never give up. Keep pushing, keep going on, and you believe me, you'll reach your goal. You will accomplish what you set out to accomplish if you never stop. Don't give up. That's what I would tell them.
Yes, ma'am. Well, tell us again how we can connect with you, Karen. How can we get your book and tell us what social media? Yeah, please.
Yeah, I'm on social media. It's K_Connect3 on Instagram.
Spell that for us.
Then it's KAY and then _ CONNECT, the number 3. That's my Instagram name. And then on Facebook, I'm Karen Vaughn, of course, my name, but Karen, and it's K, because there's some other Karen Vaughns on there too, I realized. So I put KK in brackets, because they used to call me KK.
Okay.
That was my name. As a child, they used to call me KK. So I put KK on there, so you know which Karen it is. This Karen Vaughn. Well, you'll see the picture, but there are other Karen Vaughns on there too. So it's Karen Vaughn K, I think, in brackets there, KK or K in brackets. So that's me. And then of course I gave you my website address, KarenPatrice.com.
Yes.
So so I can be contacted on there. I'm also on Twitter. No, what is my Twitter name? I'm not on Twitter. I don't go on there so much. I think it's, what is my Twitter name? Karen, K Vaughn, or KVAUGH, 123. That's my Twitter name, I think. I gotta look at that because I'm not too sure. I'm not on Twitter that much. I'm more on Instagram and Facebook. Yeah. Yes, and now there's a new thing called Threads. Did you hear about that one?
Oh, yeah, I have.
Yeah.
I'm not on it.
I'm not on it yet either.
No, it's a lot. It's a lot to deal with the social media and keep up with all the pages and posts.
Yeah,
That's a job in itself.
It is.
Karen,
It is.
it was such a blessing to talk to you. I apologize that it took us forever to get connected, but we finally made it.
Yes,
it was a pleasure talking to you. You are a motivating inspiration, and keep doing what you do. And I look forward to all of the other projects that you got coming up.
Yes, and it was a pleasure speaking with you too. As I mentioned, I want to connect with you again on my podcast this time, and thank you for having me on your podcast. Thank you.
You're so welcome, Karen. Again, thank you to all the people who tuned in with us today live on Instagram. Johnny, Jim Noel, Marcio podcast nobody listens to, Pratesh, and there were some others on the other lives that we got disconnected on. But thanks for tuning in. This episode will stream on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube, and wherever else you listen to your podcast. Just stay tuned. This will drop in a week or two as I process the episode. And we're just so grateful for you. You can connect with A News You Can Use podcast. We are on Instagram at A News You Can Use podcast. And that's it. So connect with us on Instagram at A News You Can Use podcast. And let's stay connected and engaged. Leave us when you go to our podcast, A News You Can Use podcast. Make sure whenever you're listening that you review the podcast, because the reviews really help us to get discovered by other people that's like yourself. And what else I got? You can donate to the podcast because we do need your support. We're looking for sponsors to sponsor episodes so we can continue programming and connected with other awesome, amazing Black business owners and artists around the diaspora. So tap in. Again, thank you so much for being with us today live and being patient with us with the technical difficulties. Y'all go get Essence of a Woman by Karen Vaughn.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Until then, we'll tap in with you next time. Peace and blessings.
Yes, okay.
Bye.